Let's call this meeting to order. This is the Livingston Parish Ordinance Committee meeting for Thursday, January 12th, 2023.
Mr. Girlinghouse?
Here.
Mr. Mack?
Here.
Mr. Talbert? Mr. Ard?
Here.
All right. Old business. I think we have.
I think so, yeah.
Number 4, creating standards for sign placement on developments when on a dead-end road. Mr. Ard?
Yeah, so we thought we were going to have a couple of issues with this. So basically, when we have property at the end of a dead-end road that's going to be developed, I mean, they can just put one at the end of the road, perpendicular with the road, one-sided sign. I mean, they're still saying, because the ordinance says V-shaped, two-sided, they have to do all that, and it just don't make no sense to make people spend that money.
Common sense, right?
Yeah, just a little common sense.
And honestly, it's harder to see if you do that.
Yeah, so we just want to make it, if it's the property at a dead-end road, that they can put it at the end of the road perpendicular, and it could be a one-sided sign.
100% agree.
I agree too. Any comments from the audience? All right.
Joe, you have a comment on that?
Hear that part, Joe?
Putting the signs at the end of a dead-end road? We're just going to put one-sided sign and perpendicular at the road at the end?
Instead of the V.
Instead of the V, yeah. So they only have to buy one sign.
Are we talking about a specific deal right now?
No, well, we have one that came up, that brought it up, so, this
Joe
was,
May?
no.
Okay, because I did go look at that sign, and it's up the road, and it's a little old,
No, this
12,
one's
14
off
foot
of
road.
Tyler Ballard.
Okay,
Road goes in, dead ends to his property, and he's splitting
We
it
can see the
up.
sign.
Yeah, it just don't make no sense to make him spend that money, so
I agree.
you got
We
that?
write it, we'll enforce it.
Okay.
For that we're just going to create a section under variances for that so that there's no more wording in the actual signage place. So they'll know if it's a dead-end road, they don't have
Yeah.
to put it up. So that'll be done today.
All right, I got a motion by, are you going to
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr.
I'll
Ard,
second it.
second by Mr. Mack. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. We're going to go ahead and skip down to get the other business out of the way. So item A on other business, ordinance creating nonconformities, uses for zoning. Let's see here. That would have been. This is what we were talking about, Ms. White. The
nonconformities we are going to push. We have all of the language. Shane and I were just going to get together next week
Yeah,
and
next
try
to
to
the
get it
next, yeah.
all good.
Okay.
It's incomplete. It's a lot of work's been done, but it's incomplete. We're not ready to introduce it.
Okay.
So the next one on other business, I need a favorable recommendation for LP Ordinance 2264. The section number is wrong. It should be, Caroline, can you hand them to me? It should be 126-11 and not 126-4. So I just wanted to.
So you just need a maintenance there.
Yeah.
All right. So you need a motion for that?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Ard. I need a second. Second by Mr. Mack.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Aye.
Okay, the next one is about multifamily developments and widening the road. You guys put in section 125, some requirements that when you build over 99 homes and XYZ, that, you have to, if the developments with 99 or less lots shall be developed on roads 18 foot in width or greater, 100 or more lots 20 foot or greater. Developments that do not meet the required road width shall make improvements from the entrance/exit of the development to the nearest state or parish road that meets the 18 foot or 20 foot requirement. All roadway improvements should meet the parish standards outlined in section 125-17 and be approved by the review engineer and planning director. So the review engineer wanted to know if this is something that y'all wanted to add to multifamily, and instead of 99 or less lots, 99 or less units.
I think so.
I would think so. I mean,
I think we could, but I think we could actually make it, maybe simplify it a little bit, because, I mean, it might just be one lot. I think we say, what, 99 or less lots? I don't know, how y'all feel about that? I mean, do we
I
just...
mean, when we came up with the 99 less lots, we were looking at vehicles.
Yeah.
Traffic.
So let's just change lots to units when we go to
That's-
multifamily. and
that's
just
what
say
I'm
if it's-
saying.
If it's a unit, we're talking about, just change the word lots to units, apply it to multifamily and let it go.
Exactly.
We're talking about the same number of vehicles, the same
Yeah,
number.
because you only have
Yeah.
one lot, so,
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of doesn't fit. You gotta say so many units, you know?
Gotcha. You got
Y'all
that,
good
Lauren?
with that addition?
Yeah.
Okay. Need a-
Any discussion from the audience? All right, I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by
Second.
Mr. Hard, second by Mr. Mack. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right,
We're gonna put it in there and change the lot to unit.
yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Item 4, we're going to go back up to 4B, discussion of kratom prohibition ordinance. Okay, so I'm going to clarify a few things here. One, this is just the ordinance committee, so we're on a fact-finding mission here. In the time that we've brought this forward, I've heard arguments from both sides on this to some degree. So we're going to open the floor up for discussion. Anyone want to come and speak?
Hi, good evening. Thank you.
What? What? I'm so sorry. Name and,
Yes, sir. Good evening, and thank you to the ladies and gentlemen of the Livingston Parish Ordinance Committee. My name is Ryan Burrows. I'm the Executive Director of the American Kratom Association. We represent over 11 million kratom consumers in the United States, including an estimated 200,000 Louisiana residents, as we advocate for good regulations on kratom products. There are many options about kratom, and I'm here tonight to respectfully ask that you let science drive your decision on kratom in your parish. Last week, this committee and your parish council colleagues all should have received the supporting documents for the science behind kratom. I have brought copies with me tonight and have those available to certainly distribute again if you have not received them. In 2016, under the Obama administration, the Drug Enforcement Administration told the FDA their application for scheduling kratom was insufficient. In 2018, under the Trump administration, Assistant Secretary of Health Dr. Joie withdrew the second attempt to schedule kratom, calling it embarrassingly poor evidence and data. In 2021, under the Biden administration, the application to the Expert Committee on Drug Dependence with the UN Commission on Narcotic Drugs to ban kratom internationally was denied because of insufficient evidence. In addition, the World Health Organization, after reviewing all of the science available today, concluded that kratom does not meet the criteria for international scheduling. Today, Secretary Becerra of the Department of Health and Human Services says there are significant knowledge gaps and we cannot proceed with a ban on kratom. Dr. Nora Volkow, Director of the National Institute on Drug Abuse, has expressed great interest in kratom for harm reduction as well as decreasing effects of withdrawal and depression. The problem is adulteration. We have to combat this and get this right. We have to protect your constituents and ensure that unadulterated kratom is available. Pure kratom is not the problem here. There are many adulterated kratom products on the market causing real harm, and the Kratom Consumer Protection Act is the answer to this problem. 7 states have passed the Kratom Consumer Protection Act to ban adulterated products: Utah, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, Colorado, Oklahoma, and Oregon. Additionally, the Federal Kratom Consumer Protection Act was introduced in December in the United States Senate by U.S. Senators Mike Lee of Utah and Cory Booker of New Jersey, and in the U.S. House of Representatives by Congressman Mark Pocan of Wisconsin. The Kratom Consumer Protection Act regulates kratom effectively and says kratom cannot have dangerous adulterants added to it. It will set an age limit for sale in your parish. The product must have proper labeling, and you cannot modify the naturally occurring alkaloids to enhance or alter the effect of the plant. We are here to work with you and to do the right thing. We would welcome a summit with you and your council members to develop the Kratom Consumer Protection Act for Livingston Parish. This will regulate and keep safe kratom products accessible to your constituents that truly need this life-saving plant. Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you said that 7 states had passed, what'd you call it, the Kratom Protection Act?
Protection Act, yes, sir.
Is that similar to the same act that's been introduced in the Senate?
Correct. It has a different name, but yes.
Okay, so in essence, they both accomplish the same thing.
Correct.
How did you go about getting those passed in those 7 states? I mean, was it at a grassroots level, councils asking state legislatures to do it, or?
It is truly looking at the science, and I would welcome, when you have more time, I know this is a limited meeting, to go through these documents and talk to you about the actual science behind kratom, and I'm talking about pure kratom. I will not stand here and tell you that you do not have that you do not have kratom for sale in your parish right now that is adulterated with fentanyl and other products that is creating this concern in your parish, and Ascension and Rapides and others. We agree with that. What we know is that there is really great products out there in its pure form, unadulterated, and I would like to discuss that science with you all and bring my team in and meet with you.
Absolutely.
I think that would
Thank you.
be great.
Yeah.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Come on up. All right.
My name is Adam. I'm a owner of Bella Sunrise Smoke Shop in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Citing the obvious bias that I sell it, I would like to iterate my own personal experience with it. I have worked in the same smoke shop for over 11 years. I've now owned it the past 4 through unfortunate means. My previous bosses were amazing, but enough sidetracking. I have been taking it on and off mostly just for hangovers, and I can't personally cite any time where I've felt beyond the pale of illness or the inability to go to work or to operate my day-to-day life. As far as reviews I've received from countless customers coming in and out for those all 11 years I've been there, I've received many more positive reviews towards aiding their life in an opioid crisis, or best thing I could cite, I believe the name, if anyone is familiar with The Pharmacist on Netflix. Wonderful series, and sometimes medicinal application can be unappropriated or adulterated in the wrong hands. As well as in my experience, I have come across a ridiculous amount of white vans that'll drive by with products that are not up to par, as the prior speaker has iterated. It's a trial day in and day out just to find authentic product, and I feel like proper regulation in that regard would be very beneficial, because anytime I find 1 or 2 sources to the 20 to 30 other brands that come across that are mislabeling or buying the products, labeling from eBay for cents to the dollar, it's tandem to the nicotine problem. We can't get consistent ELF bars or anything for disposable that's in mass, so people are going to be inhaling metal. Effective regulation is going to be difficult, but I think if we whittle it down long enough, we can find a median that makes everybody happy. Terrible speaker, I'm sorry for stumbles.
No, you did fine. So do you think the difference between, I guess, the pure product, the good product, that's a true issue? Do you think that there's a lot of
3 or 4 brands I have carried for that solid 11 years. It has maintained nothing but consistency, and nothing touches my wall before I guinea pig it. And I've come across some stuff that's spiked with phenobit or caffeine, and you can just tell offhand. But my relationship with kratom ultimately has never been one that I couldn't maintain or control, anecdotal as it may be. Experience speaking, if I could get any of my customers here, I found out yesterday I wanted to bring a horde of people with me when I found out, but last minute. That's about all I have, though.
No, you're doing fine. Is there an age requirement for? I know you have one for your shop.
Yeah.
So if somebody comes in and they're 16, I mean, clearly could they buy kratom legally?
Not for me, no. 18 is from what I've been made aware of, that you can't distribute anything in that regard, especially in the ATC in my area. They really want everything to be operated at 18, if not 21 for nicotine and tobacco.
Yeah.
But That's about the extent of my knowledge on the criteria.
Yeah, I know you probably to even hit your door, your facility, you got to be at least 18 or 21, I'm sure, right?
At
Yeah.
least 18 to come in, but to buy quite a good few of the products, 21.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you the minors that come in getting irritated.
Yeah, well, that's
part of the job.
Does the packaging on Kratom actually have a minimum age on it?
On my brands, if I'm remembering correctly, I want to say yes.
I looked at, I was out yesterday and today, and I looked at some of them, and I thought that, I don't know if all of them, I looked at some of the ones that seemed to be in convenience stores pretty dominant, and they had an age, a minimum age on it. I just,
And I
Kratom or what, I don't know, it comes in a big bag, and
I find it to be an authentic struggle, though, to find like the consistent, cost-effective brands. And to segue back into the conversation of nicotine, sometimes the state has a method of cutting off access to the manufacturers. And if we need to facilitate through third-party wholesalers without that access, we're up in the risk of whatever they decide to distribute to us. That is most of what I can provide.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else?
Hello, how y'all doing? I'm Paul Scheck-Snyder from Denham Springs, Louisiana. I'm a little nervous.
That's okay, Paul. I mean,
So we operate and own a Kratom company in Livingston Parish. And what I have here is product. This is raw product from Indonesia. We work closely with our farmer. Like, we consider him family. And before this product right here can even go on a shelf in any stores or online, we send it to Murray Brown Labs. They lab test it for metals, bacteria, adulteration, anything in it. We have lab reports that we post on our website that anybody can go to. We're working on QR codes to where it'll be on the bag, which is also associated with the Kratom Consumer Protection Act, to where any customer can just take a phone and pull it up, and it'll pull up the lab results for the batch. And I really think that's a great idea, and it works. It gives the consumers really the access to know what they're consuming. So I mean, it goes through testing, everything. Then the packaging that we do, it has age limits on it. It's sealed for protection. It's in a manufactured in a GMP setting. All stainless steel tables. Everything's clean. Package, gloves, face mask, everything, the whole 9 yards for the manufacturing procedure. I've been taking Kratom for 3 years. I did 2 tours in Afghanistan, and I've dealt with PTSD for many years. I lost 10 years of my life when I came back due to alcoholism, dealing with drugs. I was in and out of this courtroom, Livingston Parish, for a long time, way back in the day, back in early 2000s. I straightened my life up. Kratom's helped that big time. I excel in my work. I'm a business owner now, and I try to do the best that I can do. This is my family. I got 2 precious little boys, a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. And I just try to be the best father I can be to them. And Kratom absolutely allows that. It helps with my PTSD so much that I no longer take the prescription medicines from the VA that I used to, which was a list this long. I mean, you would get side effects from this medicine. Well, let us write you this medicine to help with those side effects. And before you know it, I'm taking 7 or 8 prescriptions. I'm 40 years old. I don't need a whole list of prescriptions, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then what I'm finding, like, I know the Consumer Protection Act was brought to Louisiana legislation, I think in 2018, am I right? And it got shot down. It got shot down before really it could even, I guess, brought to light and been useful, you know what I mean? But what I do find interesting is like the Act number 425 in Louisiana, which all these treatment centers and everything, it says all Louisiana addiction treatment facilities providing care for opioids must offer an opioid antagonist like Suboxone. And Suboxone's highly addictive.
Yeah.
Very addictive. And the withdrawals and everything from that, it's rough. You're going to go to treatment. You're going to go to treatment for treatment. You know what I mean? And I think we got to look at the bigger picture and figure out like the whole treatment system that we got going on in the United States and in Louisiana. It's not working. You know what I mean? And the deaths. See if I find it. The death rate is just outstanding. Louisiana's like 23% above national average with overdoses. You know what I mean? And that's something that we got to change. You know, I'm proud of this parish. I've moved back during COVID. I've been living in Texas and moved back, and I'm glad to be here. You know what I mean? I don't want to be anywhere else. And I think Livingston Parish has cleaned up big time from what it used to be. I mean, originally I'm from Tangier Hoe Parish, which, you know, everybody said, oh man, LP, it had a bad name to it, you know, but now it's been turned around, it's got a great name. I mean, businesses flourishing, just everything's going great with Livingston Parish. But we need to look at this, and I'd be willing to sit down and have a meeting with y'all and discuss manufacturing practices, discuss label, and discuss everything involved in this. You know what I mean? If we could sit down and, I don't think a band is what we need. I really don't, because it truly helps a lot of people. Truly helps a lot of people in many different ways, from depression, anxiety, fatigue, PTSD. So I definitely think it's something to look into a little further. I think Ascension Parish kind of jumped the gun on it a little bit, and maybe should have done a little more research before they decided to impose the ban they did. So I'd be willing to sit down with y'all if y'all like, and I thank y'all for y'all's time.
Do you have like you have a storefront, or do you?
I do online sales. I do online sales, and we've actually been speaking with many vape shop owners in Louisiana, and we're getting our products into the stores. So we mainly do a lot of online sales right now, but we are moving into more of local setting.
Okay. Lauren, could you?
Make sure we got his information.
Yeah, could you make sure you get his information so I can give him a call?
Definitely.
Thank you so much.
All right.
I got a question.
Go ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Shane's got a question for you.
What did he just say? I just had a question. So when people come to you and want to purchase it,
Yes.
is there a limit on how much they can purchase?
We only sell our packaging within,
Go back to the podium, please.
Yeah, sorry.
So that way we can hear it, everybody can hear.
so we sell within our packaging 100 grams to 250 grams. That's max per bag. And most of the time, our max limit is about 500 grams that we sell. We do not sell extracts, and that's another thing that we could discuss maybe in another meeting or something like that. But yeah, I mean, we don't just push a ton of product out there, you know what I mean?
So you're saying that,
responsible.
you're saying that the
responsible
maximum
manner.
amount that an individual could purchase from you is 500 grams, milligrams? What did you say?
It's not really set in stone, but that would be something that we could possibly discuss if that's an issue. You know, maybe we could set that in a standard in Livingston Parish, you know?
And I think that's what the majority of us is looking at, is some type of regulation.
Yeah, definitely,
You
definitely.
know, I don't really think we were just in here to straight up ban it. Like,
Yeah.
we wanted to gain knowledge on it, understand it, and see if we need to do some type of regulation until, you know, federal government or state comes down and does something. But,
I agree with you.
I mean, I think that's the biggest push we have coming from here is, you know,
To be clear, I mean, I'd never heard of it
yeah.
until, well, ironically, it was like a week before this coming to me. I saw it wrote on a sign. I was like, what is that?
I wanted to add a few things here.
And most don't know what kratom is.
And look,
until
so
we're
far,
here.
I don't need it, so that's probably a good thing, you know. You know, so that's I was not in a situation where I guess in life, you know, thank God that I don't feel like that I would need something, you know, like that. But I can appreciate, because I've gotten a lot of phone calls from people that said that it's helped them, you know. And, you know, there's some other stuff, but I'm interested in hearing from this gentleman here, you know, about, you know, it's you have situations where you have tainted product out there ruining it by your assessment, ruining it for everybody, I guess. So, okay. Shane, did you have something else?
Yeah, I mean, we've heard a lot of positive communication about this kratom, okay? But I was looking at this Louisiana Department of Health, you know, study on kratom, and it talks about how Alabama and Arkansas, several states in the Gulf have banned the use of kratom. It also basically says that kratom exhibits properties similar to other Schedule I substances like LSD, like heroin, both of which have a high potential for abuse. It says kratom currently has no accepted medical uses. It says the Louisiana Department of Health recommends that kratom be banned from general consumption in the state. It says, with exceptions made only in the context of well-designed scientific studies with appropriate oversight, data safety, monitoring boards, and regulatory approval. I mean, just we're talking as a group, and certainly we don't have to take any action tonight, but I mean, my thought is being that there is no regulation on how much you can consume, and being that it is possible to, you know, it'd be a health hazard, you know, based on the fact that somebody who could hallucinate and take an action that wouldn't be desired, that maybe this substance should be banned in Livingston Parish until the state or federal government can come out with the type of regulation, you know, that can control, you know, the volume that's consumed by an individual, so that it does protect the people of Livingston Parish. You know, I mean, I think the biggest problem here is there is no regulation, like Jeff was saying, and there's no way for anyone to control, you know, how much someone's using. You know, and if it's like the gentleman earlier talked about, if it's mixed with impurities, you know, what's the repercussion of that? You know, if someone, I mean, it's basically legal at the moment. So if you had somebody 21 years old purchase it, and then, you know, give it to someone 13, 14 years old, and then it not be pure, and we lost a lot of loved ones, you know, that, I mean, I understand you got a business, everything, and you want to continue that, and by all means, we support businesses, but I feel like this is a problem. I mean, I'd like to learn more about it. I'd like to learn a little bit more why the other states are banning this stuff, and You know, I mean, do y'all feel like this is acceptable? If you know what I'm saying? I mean, to me, it needs to be regulated, and maybe it should be banned until it is.
Well, I'm going to come to his defense. I think, and I might be wrong from what he said, his business model is secondary to how it affects him. I mean, I think he got into business doing it because he found it to be so effective for him. And I not to put down what you're saying, but I mean, I have to kind of, I mean, I might be wrong. Am I right? I mean, sure you're making money at it, but.
You know, I found it through a vape shop. I started using it, and then it changed my life so drastically that I did fall in love with it, and I excelled with the help of it. And you know, along the way, I've met so many different people and hear the stories of how it helped them. And I fell in love with that, and now I get the opportunity to go every day and help people that struggle with addiction, help people that are struggling with pain management, depression, anxiety, PTSD. You know, I get to go out there and help these people. And like I say, you know, it says you look like people on LSD and heroin. Do I look like I'm on LSD or heroin?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It just says that it has similar characteristics. It actually says it exhibits properties similar to other Schedule I substances. I mean, I'm not
I'm going to look at like the facts of
doing
the
anything like that.
LD50. The LD50 consumption, which is like a 50% chance rate of dying, I think is what, like 2 to 3 kilograms. So, which is 3,000 grams of kratom. This is 1,000 grams of kratom. I mean, I don't really see anybody being able to eat this or use this in one dose. You know what I mean? This is a lot of product. And to have 3 of these, you know, at one setting, I mean, you really have to be hungry, I guess.
Well, maybe I got another question for the other gentleman.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, look, everything can be abused. Alcohol can be abused, cigarettes can be abused.
Exactly.
You know, THC can be abused, hemp can be abused. I drink Red Bulls every day. I might drink 3 or 4. If I drink 10 or 12, I might die of a heart attack. That's abuse. I mean, there are people who die on taking a pre-workout before they go, you know, before they go in the health club because they didn't follow the directions or abused it. You can't protect people from being stupid.
That's right.
I mean, I'm just telling you. I mean, if there is some benefit that people gather, then let's look at providing a product that is safe by asking the legislature to enact the Kratom Protection Act, and then we're moving forward. And let's look at the biggest problem I have with the parish, you know, enacting the Kratom is there's going to be dollars involved to regulate it and do the other things that are involved in it. I just think that it's something that needs to be addressed at the legislature, and I think it's something that if we as a council should ask them to move forward along those lines. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, prescription medication. This is on it and everything else, but look at the overdose ratings on that. It's
I'd like to say something to
the
that.
whole entire country.
I just want to say to that is those are prescribed by a doctor with directions on what's acceptable to take. What you're selling does not list on what's acceptable to take, and those taking it don't know how much they consume and how much is truly harmful to them. You see what I'm saying? And it's not just you and about your business. This stuff is being sold in multiple businesses in Livingston Parish where underage individuals may be able to get their hands on this. And I just think that it's going to take the state legislative body and the Department of Health and Hospitals or Department of Health here maybe some time to develop these regulations, you know, and it's possible until then, you know, that we need to try to do what we can to prevent somebody from overdosing or somebody from hallucinating and you know, performing something that, you know, is unsafe to the public. I don't know. That's just my opinion. You know, I'm just one, you know, of this council, but
I think
it's my thought.
again, I need to be more informed on this, but there's a fine line between protecting the public and stepping on civil liberties. And it's very thin. You'll start off one way, and before you know it, you're stepping on liberties. To some degree, I agree with what Mr. Talbert said. Hey, anything can be abused. I do like the concept of what you're saying about it's like anything else. Once you get into the nuances of any subject, then you realize that, hey, there is this product, and then there's this people calling this product, and it's not actually that product. It's got a bunch of other things. I would like, I know I want to. I'm no way I'm making any kind of decision today. I mean, I'm going to be educated on this before moving forward or not. But anyway, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Did you get Lauren the information?
Yep.
Jeff, did you have some?
No.
Okay, Joe?
Go ahead, something.
As a one fire chief in this parish out of 11, I would like to say I'm not sure of the pros and cons of this product yet. I've read the same stuff Shane's read, and doesn't have any FDA guidelines, approvals. I believe it can be abused just like anything else, but I would ask you guys to give us as frontline. I mean, we run 4,000 calls a year. 1,500 of them, we ran 3 today, are overdoses, whether it be fentanyl, heroin, or some kind of opiate. This, from what I've read a little bit, this has same type of situation if you abuse it. They cut it with some heroin, and they cut it with different things. I would ask that you guys would slow down just a little bit before you let us who are on the front line dealing with this every day get some education, get some knowledge of what the heck it is and how I never heard of this thing before last week. What it's going to, the possibilities of what it can do out there on the street. I mean, you're looking at legalized drugs that are killing people every day because they're mixing it with stuff. So whether it has benefit outweighs the negative, we don't know yet. We're not educated in it, and we are going to have to deal with this on the street. So all I ask is you slow down just a little bit, give us a chance as fire chiefs and my medical personnel a chance to do some studies and make an educated decision. It may be something that works great, but we're not going to know how to deal with it if it's not, unless we get educated on it. I mean, that's just,
I agree.
As a fire chief, that's my opinion, and we stay busy with this every day.
Yeah, I 100% agree, respect, but the Louisiana Department of Health is recommending that Creighton be banned. It ain't just Shane Mack.
Shane, I'm 100% in agreement with you, but I'm trying to play the devil's advocate on the other side, saying I'm not going to stand here and say I'm 100% against it because I don't know enough about it. And to say that would be wrong. But I think we need to have a chance to study this thing for ourselves, talk to our medical professionals and talk to our coroner and our medical directors and find out what their research shows, and do some more of our own legwork and do some research just to find out. But from what I've read, I'm 100% in agreement with you that as of right now, I don't think we ought to be doing this until we get more educated in the product. Thank you.
Thank you.
Trisha Dubot from Denham Springs. I actually work at Adams Smoke Shop inside Denham Springs. I have my owner here today. I'm standing up to represent the business. I have been working there for a short period of time, and most of my customers come in for Kratom. I cannot tell you how many testimonies I get in a day about how Kratom helps, how Kratom's gotten off of heroin, Kratom's gotten off of meth, anything else. I do not believe that it should be banned while you figure this out. I know that you talked about how you would come up with costs to be able to research and everything like that. I do believe that it shouldn't be banned, but part of the money that is made from the sales of Kratom inside of Livingston Parish should be used for more research on Kratom. Now, do I believe it should be regulated? Yes, but that's any form of anything that you take. I mean, cigarettes, nicotine, CBD, cannabis. I mean, you'll have legal CBD now. Anything, I mean, even legal CBD you could take, spray with fentanyl, resell it. I mean, anything. And the place that I live at, unfortunately, is not the best area, but I see more overdoses every single week on heroin, fentanyl, especially fentanyl, and any kind of, I mean, methamphetamine. The rates of methamphetamine done went down because now it's just heroin and fentanyl. I think that Kratom could actually help, especially with a lot of PTSD, a lot of different illnesses or pains that people do have. I really am against banning it until that you come to a conclusion on what to do. Do I believe that it should be regulated? Yes, but the ban of it until you are able to figure out the regulation for it will dramatically drop sales inside of Livingston Parish and all businesses, gas stations, smoke shops, vape shops, anything that sells Kratom is going to dramatically drop the business, which on top of is going to probably drop employees throughout different stores because they're not going to be able to pay the employees. I mean, Kratom is half of the business that I make on a daily basis. And the testimonies that I have that come in are mind-blowing. I mean, I've even had personal friends that take Kratom. I personally don't, but I have friends that take Kratom that tell me this was the only thing that helped me get off of heroin. They tried Suboxone, they tried rehab treatments, they tried everything. And Suboxone made it twice as worse. I mean, I'd rather see a product out there that actually helps people than something than to take it off and then go back to heroin, then go back to, you know, prescription pain pills. So, I mean, if it is regulated, that's a lot better because, I mean, even nowadays, whenever you get prescription pain pills, half the time you may get it from a pharmacy, but I mean, they can mess up in the pharmacy, just like they can mess up with nicotine or CBD or any other thing that you inhale, take on a daily basis. I mean, even alcohol nowadays, I mean, I've heard of, what was it? Not too long ago, we just had an overdose in the neighborhood once again, talking about how somebody had bought some cannabis and the person that was selling the cannabis sprayed it down with fentanyl, killed him instantly. And they were talking about how that person that passed away kept talking about for weeks how they had nothing to help with their pain. They had nothing. The cannabis wasn't helping. They wanted to try to get treatment, but they just wanted, the people wanted to give them Suboxone for the treatment just to help with pain, and they knew if they went down that route of Suboxone again that it was just going to be like a rabbit hole. Go back to treatment for a week, get out, get some more drugs. Drugs make you even worse, go back to treatment again. I mean, mainly making money off of treatment and not actually making money towards helping people. Now, I understand if you do ban it, just because I know it takes time. And I know that takes a worry off if you do ban it. But I mean, even if you ban it, they're just gonna go to another parish. That's all they're gonna do. I mean, I got people from all parishes coming in, making the hour trip, 2-hour trip. I had a lady from New York today come in just to be able to come down here and get it.
From New York?
Yes.
Surely there's a place closer.
I was very surprised. I was very, very surprised. Actually, she was 48 years old. I actually asked to see her driver's license. It threw me off a little bit. Now, in our store, you're only allowed to be 21 to enter. You're only allowed to be 21 to buy anything. There is no 18, it's only 21, mainly because of the fact that we do have tobacco products, we do have CBD products, we do products, things like that. But just like, I don't know exactly how to explain it. This is my first time ever speaking at a council meeting.
No, you're doing fine.
But I really believe that it shouldn't be banned until you, like, and while you figure it out, that the money that is being used in the state of, like in the parish of Livingston for Kratom, to take some of that money and actually do it towards researches instead of just banning it and then waiting 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years and losing more and more and more money out of all these stores that have it, gas stations. I mean, everywhere has it. Everywhere besides for major people like Walmart, you know. I mean, besides that, you can go right down to the corner, most probably at the end of Frost Road, and go get it in the store. I mean, everywhere has it. it's going to be hard to ban it completely, because this is going to be the next thing on the street that you're going to find. Instead of heroin or meth, it's going to be, oh, I got kratom today. Oh, I got this. Because it's the only thing that actually helps people that doesn't involve sticking a needle in their arm or using other methods.
Okay. Thank you. Where would you say your shop was?
Adam's Smoke Shop of Florida.
Is that the one inside the city limits?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's right across from the Take 5 Oil Change.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, that's the sign I actually saw that made me go, what is that?
Yes,
Y'all got it on y'all's marquee.
Lots and lots of customers.
And
that come in.
just to FYI, whatever this governing body decision ever comes to outside of the state, it wouldn't affect the shop inside the city limits.
Outside them city limits?
We don't, our legislation, if we ban it, it'll be outside the city limits. The municipalities have their own laws. So, I mean, just throwing out there food for thought.
We would just have to regulate it in our, it would be like towards our other stores then, because there are multiple stores that.
Anything we do here, it only affects outside the boundaries of the municipalities within the parish of Livingston. So, that's it.
Thank you.
Okay. Gary, did you have something?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many more people want to speak, but look, I mean, we're approaching 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
I'd like to make a recommendation. I mean, look, we can do something now that's not permanent. I mean, that's that moves it one direction and can still continue to talk about it. But I think we ought to recommend to the council to pass a resolution asking the legislature, our legislative members, to look at investigating kratom and looking at passing the Kratom Protection Act within the state, and then what you're looking at is everybody is going to be regulated the same way. We're looking at the pure kratom without adulterated kratom. You'll probably find that there will be some standards set forth that you've got to meet. Look, right now, I mean, I don't sell it in my store. I don't sell hemp or the THC or whatever the stuff is that you can sell, the gummies. But those guys that do, everything, every one you have has to be listed and be approved at the ATC level. So consequently, like, to sell hemp-related products, if I'm correct, is you've got to get a license through ATC. And if you've got a product in your store, it better be on their list, and it better be listed that is one of the products that they have and you have. So that if you're checked and they come in and you've got some product that they don't have, that they hadn't approved or you haven't listed as being in your store, you're going to be in trouble. And I think that you'll find that if we have the state address this in a particular way that is parish-wide, then you're going to, statewide, and all parishes meet the same standard. I mean, the parish could still outlaw it if they chose to, but you're going to find, I think what we've seen here tonight and what we've read about is that there is no standard sometimes, and so if you create the standard, then you protect those people, because there obviously is benefit. I mean, y'all got the emails, I got the emails. I mean, we had a council person talk about somebody they knew that, whose kid was ADD, that they gave it to them. I mean, all of us know somebody that takes it on a regular basis. And so consequently, those people, to ban it or make it, hard to get, penalizes those who are utilizing it in the right way. It's a shame that this country gets to the point that we let those who abuse a product dictate that those who use it properly don't have access to it. So I think we could initially do that. We could continue to debate and address and have people come talk about kratom and how we want to address it on a local level, but we could start moving forward, because the legislature, it's coming up. We could go ahead and ask them to look into it and see, if they would, see how to address it, and maybe,
I think it's already
It's already on there.
It's already on there.
It's
So
already there.
let's let this young lady have
Hey,
because we are against the clock. So
Yes, I understand.
Okay.
No more 3 minutes. This product that y'all are talking about, is it banned right now from being sold in Louisiana? Is it illegal?
No.
It's nothing, there's no regulations on it whatsoever.
No.
So if y'all don't say you can't sell it, then y'all won't be held liable if someone gets hurt or somebody causes someone to die in a car accident or whatever because you didn't put a halt to it. What is the stipulation on that? Who is held responsible if something happens to the person that's using this or it affects somebody else? Like if they're driving, just like alcohol, somebody gets under DWI, that person gets whatever. But because it's not banned, because it's not FDA approved and everything, who's responsible for that before, just because, like I said, a 16 or 17-year-old get a hold to it? So, I mean, do we really need something else being added to the long list that we already have? Because we're considered like the meth capital of the world right here. So that's just my only concern about the ramifications, the hospitalization, who's going to be responsible? Is there something that can counter-react this if someone has an allergic reaction to it, and so on and so on? But I know y'all do y'all's homework. I just wanted to know if it was banned.
No, there's no ban on it right currently, so, thank you. All right, we need to wrap this up, guys. So I think we should,
I mean, look,
I would like to just say we table this for the next ordinance meeting because I think the sheriff and the coroner would both like to come speak.
I know, but I really would like to get with this gentleman here and the other gentleman minimum and find out the information that they have as well. So I will probably be doing it as a councilman, not a member of this committee, but that's fine though. I can make moves from the floor. So, yeah, we're against the clock, guys. I need a motion to
adjourn.
Motion from Mr. Second by Mr. Mack. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.